Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some really fun news over here, especially for the callback people. Now, as you guys probably know, the PlayStation and the Xbox have kind of had a little bit of a turbulent past few days. Now, we're not against that, but there has been a lot of things being changed in terms of what games will be sold, when they'll be sold, if there's going to be like console exclusivity or not. But one thing that I kind of want to go and highlight is we have a lot of old games that we can go and sell. Now, I'm not really the biggest fan of people always just rehashing, reselling, remaking, remodeling, just reselling in general. Skyrim, especially, but I'm one of those people that we do have a really big old school catalog that a lot of people would love to relive, or, if they're a bit on the younger side, live for the very first time. And right now we're seeing a huge PlayStation update and brand new PlayStation things for sale that might go and completely change the game. So we're gonna go talk about this because I think this is fantastic news, and I want to go share with all of you lovely people watching. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below if you guys would like to go and follow, and this is kind of exciting, so let me know if you guys could be excited to as well. So as I'm sure you guys have seen, there's always a big back and forth on old school games. PlayStation 1, 2, and at this point, I don't want to say this because I'm, well, getting up there, I guess, myself, but a PlayStation 3 and even Xbox 360 games are somewhat on the nostalgic / retro. That really stings me internally to go and say those are retro, but I'm sure you guys would understand. And there's a big reason why we don't sell these games. Because people are stupid. When you look at Nintendo and they have old school, like say Pokemon games, they could easily be selling on their Switch, would be perfect. Or even things like old school PS1 and PS2 games. Now we can and do and will most likely have accessibility with it due to PS Plus, the higher tiers make it accessible for PlayStation, and same thing for Nintendo or even old school Game Pass. But one thing we love to go and see is that things are finally changing in the gaming sphere. PlayStation games going to PC, Xbox games going to PlayStation, and now having old school PS2 games finally being able to come to PS4 and PS5. Now, you guys may not think this is a big deal, but I feel like high level of all of this, these gaming companies are finally relaxing. They're finally saying, hey, people just want to spend money and buy games that they like or they love, or in general, maybe from a different platform, but why not we just all make money? Like, it's really dumb. I don't know why. But right now we're seeing that PlayStation 2 emulators are finally now coming to the PS4 and PS5. The days of the PS2 aren't dead at all. It's been years since the PlayStation 2 was in its heyday, and a little rip in peace to them. And while we do believe it's one of the greats, assessing its classic games without an actual PS2 to hand hasn't been easy. Now, once again, you have been able to utilize the PlayStation Plus and do those separate tiers, and with all of that together, that does make it so you guys can enjoy the games, like you can still play them. But streaming is a lot different than owning, and owning is a lot different than streaming. So basically, Sony has been slowly introducing a bunch of old PS1 titles to the PlayStation Plus premium tier, like Nintendo, as we covered at the start of this video. And it's been really nice, although there has been a big lack of PS2 games, which makes us all around sad. So there has now been a brand new listing, which I can show you guys over here from Gamatsu in a second, for the old school Star Wars The Clone Wars game. And this is the very first new PlayStation 2 emulated title, will be coming both now to the PS4 and PS5. So we can see the listing over here that people have had a chance to go and see, and this is where it makes things special. A PlayStation Store listing picked up by PlayStation Store Price Tracker PS Deals has revealed Star Wars The Clone Wars to be the first new PS2 emulated title to come to the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 since literally 2019. It's been a very long time. Now, I do want to highlight there has been playability if you utilize the higher tier PlayStation Plus, as I mentioned. So you have been able to check out some games, but there's a weird window where people were able to stream the games and like get the games, like basically assess them, but they were also behind a massive paywall because the higher tiered PlayStation Plus things are a little bit more expensive. And I always kind of told people, if you want to maybe go on that upper tier and just binge a bunch of old games for like a month or two, or if that's what you usually prefer, that's fine. But at the same time, some people don't always want to pay the higher tier. Some people don't have the money to always buy the higher tier, and also some people like the idea of game ownership, of just you put it on the store, you buy the game, you own it forever, you return to it, you replay it, you speedrun it, versus having to play and have a streaming system. So streaming is fine, I like streaming, but at the same time, I also like the idea of having options, and this is where I think PlayStation is finally waking on up, because the more options, the better. Like I said, some people like me, I probably wouldn't go and want to pay the extra tier unless I was on a big retro mood. big retro grind. Like right now, there's not that many games out. So if you ever want to up your PlayStation subscription, they're not paying me for it. Do whatever you want with your money. But it would be a good time to maybe check out old school games and maybe re-up it and enjoy it. But as of this second, some people don't want to do that. They'll have one game they really, really loved, like a Chrono Trigger or something, and they want to play a lot. Or it's a long-term game that'll take a long time that they don't want to pay $18 a month just to go and play the game for 5 months, because JRPGs can get pretty long pretty quick. And that's like the fun thing, is because I love these old school games. I was even watching one of my brand new, like, more streamer friends out there. I was watching Colors, and she was doing a brand new Final Fantasy run of one of the old school Final Fantasy games. And there's a certain comfiness and a certain style of enjoying these old classic games, whether it's from your first time playing through it, or you play with people who love the game when they're growing up, or even speedrunning, which has always been a very, very big part of a lot of gaming culture for people who really like certain games. So the fact that PlayStation's finally opening up this brand new window to allow brand new games to be bought and sold again since 2019, like 5 years, that's a pretty big deal. So it said its release date is listed as of June 11th, and it will likely be available as part of the June wave for the class's catalog titles as well for the PlayStation Plus Premium. So I do believe that seems like what I'm seeing is that you're able to go buy both, because there is the individual title for it too as well, which is nice to go and see. So basically, the Star Wars Clone Wars originally released in the PlayStation 2 console, enhanced with so basically it's going to have enhancements, better rendering, rewinds, quick save, custom video filters, basically like emulation plus. If you guys have ever tried to emulate a game console before, or a game in general, it's kind of cool. Like, I don't want to be that guy to encourage it all the time, because in theory, you should own the legal ROM, aka you should like own the original game file, whatever. But it was kind of cool. Like, I've seen people do like 4K old school Mario games or Zelda games, which, I mean, Nintendo can say what they want to say. It's definitely a little bit of a sketchy subject depending on who you talk to, but I do think it's a cool system. So they're having updates. They will, I believe, from what I understood, from what I saw, I believe you can also buy the game. So I do believe it's giving options. If I'm completely wrong, I'll go and give you guys a sad comment, because I think a lot of the things I'm saying still stand true, where the options and availability and streamability is a big thing to know. But at the same time, hopefully I'm not wrong, because at least I saw it on the store itself, but usually the pre-order stuff is slightly different. But anyway, like, it's cool. Like, they're finally going and bringing back these old classic games. And even if it's only focused on the streaming, having the options to relive these memories is what makes life fun. Having these options in general to play these games is what makes things fun. Having just the chance to go and relive your childhood, or even let your children play these games, also makes things fun. And this is really kind of fun news to go and see. So they mentioned over here too that it should be coming out on June 11th as well. So they can't see it for themselves yet. The description purportedly read, "Experience Star Wars The Clone Wars original released in the PlayStation 2 console, enhanced with up rendering, rewind, quick save, and custom video filters. We anticipate PlayStation 2 outsell the Xbox 2 as well." I'm not sure why they're throwing the random Xbox shade in here too. On top of this one, I just want to go, I think, mention that the PS5's outsold the Xbox. But at the same time, it's crazy to see, because we want to see more classics. And this is like the last wind down of this video. I would love if these big game companies, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, they don't necessarily have to rely on retro. Like, don't resell me The Last of Us for the 5th time. But I would really enjoy them having a just more open mind. Like Nintendo, I would love to sit down. I would spend money on this, or keep my PlayStation, or no, my Nintendo subscription to go and play games like Pokemon Blue and just play it on my Switch. It'd be very comfy. But they don't really sell those games too often. They want to hold on to the files for whatever reason. But why not just keep it available forever? You know, like, why not just always have in the store, and then 10 years down the road, just remind people, do retro sales, or maybe do the occasional update, or whatever it might be. But the fact that PlayStation's allowing this, pushing for this, is kind of, I think, a really big eye-opener. That's going to lead to more PlayStation 2 games coming out. This could lead towards more people maybe even upping their subscriptions, and I'm not the biggest retro fan. I usually prefer more newer age games, but having the options would maybe want to sit down sometime, relax, and play a game I've never played before, or maybe play a game I've heard a lot of people always love, or play a game that I used to play all the time when I was a kid and happily fork over $5 just so I could keep on playing it. So I want to hear your thoughts on my little ramble and talk here. Do you guys think that you guys would enjoy this? Would you guys actually buy these games, or old school retro PS1 and PS2 games? Or are you guys just happy with the streaming? Or maybe none of the above. You're just like, I don't care, I want to play my new games. You guys can go be retro old boomers on your own. So I want to hear your thoughts on everything down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We do have the Twitter and Twitch stream, and I appreciate you guys all very much for watching the video itself in the first place. Love you guys.